Public Library. And this is?
I'm Cece. I'm the Adult Services intern here.
And today we're here to give you some recommendations for our annual 12 to Try Reading Challenge. So for the month of June, the challenge is a biography or memoir by or about an LGBTQIA+ person. Please stay tuned for our suggestions or come to the library and check out our display promoting the challenge. So, I'll talk about one of my books first here. And this is called Mama, a Queer Black Woman's Story of a Family Lost and Found by Nikkya Hargrove. So, in this story, you'll really get your heartstrings tugged. It starts off with the author's mother, like the very first part of it. She's getting frisked as she's going to visitation with her family in the prison, and you kind of get the sense that she's deprived of all of her dignity, and yet she's there greeting her family, like the author, her daughter, and her aunt. And the author, you'll learn, Nikkya, she's dealt with her mom going in and out of prison her entire life due to addiction. And you quickly find out that Nikkya has a reversed role in this parenting. So often she's the one that's parenting and like the stability and comfort for her mom and always taking care of her. Nikkya has just graduated from college, something no one else in her family has yet accomplished, and then learns that her mother has overdosed and gone into early labor with Nikkya's newest baby brother. Both are in precarious health, and Nikkya rushes to the hospital, where she's determined already to give her baby brother something that she never had, a home and a family that he can rely on and that will love and support him. Her mother ends up dying due to like heart problems, but she ends up having to fight for custody for her new half-brother, who ends up being named Jonathan. And it's really interesting. You get to see how, she deals with prejudice and has to fight the courts just to get custody for him. And in the first part of the memoir, Nikkya is living with her girlfriend and doesn't really see eye to eye with her on taking in her baby brother. And so some of her relationships kind of fall apart because of that. But you do see, as you walk alongside of her, you feel the things she feels. So, for example, it talks about her shame when she has to apply for food stamps and like feeling judged by other people when she's at the store, or sharing about what it's like to have an incarcerated parent with someone who's never experienced that. The vulnerability of coming out to people that you love and that you want to support you, but maybe not always getting the reactions that you hope. So that kind of vulnerability, and the absolute resolve and fierce love that creates bonds found between family. So this was a wonderful, well-written, tearful, heartwarming read that truly shares about the experiences of neglect and trauma, while also redefining what motherhood can look like to someone who did not have the role model that was ideal. So check this out. It's a wonderful book, and you can read it for the June 12th to try.
All right. Well, I'm going to talk first about the book Fairest by Meredith Talusan. And Meredith Talusan is a transgender Filipino woman with albinism, who opens up in this book about her experiences growing up in the Philippines as somebody with albinism, with a kind of a troubled family life, immigrating to the United States, going to Harvard, and even for part of her life, pretending that she is white because she's passing and she has so much internalized racism. This book is a really, really poetic, well-written book about a perspective that we don't normally hear. It's really unlike anything I've ever read, and it's emotional, it's hard-hitting, and it's really honest. She doesn't, hide who she is, and just puts it all out there, and I can't recommend it enough.
That sounds good. All right. The next memoir I read is called Antiboy, and this is by Valentijn Hoogenkamp. And it's actually a Dutch author, so this is a translated work. And just to read a little bit about it, it was praised in the Dutch press and nominated for the Anton Watcher Prize. So, this one was a shorter read. So kind of if you want something quick and swift to read through, this is the one for you. And it's about the author's experience of never quite feeling like they fit into either category of male or female, and what it's like to be somewhere outside of that spectrum. So it turns out that Valentijn has a genetic predisposition to a cancer that usually requires a mastectomy, and the choice is now thrust upon them to take preventative action. So alongside this, I thought it was interesting because you get to hear, like, she goes to a plastic surgeon that talks about mastectomy and like reconstructing her breast, but it was really interesting that the doctors very much pushed for her to, not just remove the breast completely, but that it was more like aesthetically pleasing if she, replaced them, and also pushed for her to have children before going through with the procedure. The author genuinely questions friends before going through with the surgery about what makes them feel like a woman, and I thought these were responses that were really interesting. So some of those varied from like, they felt like a woman when they were walking alone down a dark street and had like a key between their knuckles to protect them. Or some answered like, I don't know, I just know that I am. So it's a book that made me ponder these same questions and wonder about society's pressure to fit people into a category or to look a certain way simply because it's pleasing or acceptable. So whose opinion is most important when making these decisions about their body? Valentijn finds, after the surgery, to find a space somewhere in between both genders that feels more natural. They cut their hair and adopt male pronouns. Valentijn's boyfriend, who withdraws from the relationship after he shares that he doesn't feel like a woman anymore, and perhaps never really did, the boyfriend says, I only like women. Valentijn then finds a connection with an ex who is also trans, and helps them become more comfortable in this anti-boy stance, where they're not quite a girl, but not quite a boy. And I will say, with it being a translated work, which I should mention it's translated by Michelle Hutchison, this may be a contributing factor, but I felt sometimes this was a little tougher to read. But if you like something that's more poetic, it was thought heavy and a very honest account about how it feels when you're not quite fitting into what society's expectations are, or you feel somehow other. It's an important story that other people may feel a connection to or have a perspective inside another's experience. So I really appreciated this book, despite feeling like maybe it wasn't my favorite style, but you may love it. So, to know the feeling of love and then to be rejected, for opening up and embracing your identity, and to find others who support you is the most important thing. And just, that was kind of the message, like, to love and accept yourself. So, check it out.
All right, awesome. All right, and next I'm going to talk about Yours Cruelly, Elvira, Memoirs of the Mistress of the Dark by Cassandra Peterson. And a few years ago, after the pandemic gave her time to finally sit down and write it, the horror queen herself released this book to an explosion of social media attention. And I got it right away. Her fame was before my time, but I've always known who Elvira is, and she's pretty much legendary to anybody that like grew up in alternative subcultures. It tells about her early life, her rise to fame, the creation of her character Elvira, and notably, it reveals that she has been in a relationship with another woman for 19 years. So this book was her coming out story. And it was really heartwarming to see the attention that it got on social media and the interactions between Miss Peterson and her fans. And it was just really, really great. And the book is really great too by itself. It's heavy, but she is so funny. And she's so campy, and I love it. And I can't recommend it enough for anybody that knows who she is, or even if you don't. It really gives a new depth to her as a person. She's not just this character on screen. This is her story, not just Elvira's.
Also, I want to add, you said before your time, which made me think about me and my age. So if it's all right, I also wanted to throw this out there. It might age me a little bit, but I really enjoyed the L word, which if you don't know what that is, you can look it up. But coming out, I didn't unfortunately have the book, but in June, the month of our 12 to try for this category, So Gay for You, Friendship Found Family, and the show that surprised it all by Leisha, Hailey, and Moennig is coming out. So if I could have, I definitely would have shared about this too. So just want to throw that out there because come check it out at the library. It'll be here in June.
So those are our recommendations, and we would love to have you come participate in our 12 to Try and just come see us at the library. That would be awesome. We'd love to have you.